Welcome to Pavagadh Archaeological Park, a hidden gem nestled in the Panchmahal district of Gujarat, India. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a treasure trove of history, culture, and architectural brilliance, spanning several centuries and civilizations. The park is a sprawling 1,328 hectares, encompassing an impressive array of archaeological, historical, and living cultural heritage properties. It sits at the foot of Pavagadh Hill, a volcanic formation that rises 800 meters above the surrounding plains. This site is not just an archaeological wonder, but also a testament to the region's rich and diverse history. One of the most significant landmarks here is the Kalikamata Temple, perched atop Pavagadh Hill. This temple, dedicated to the Hindu goddess Kali, is a major pilgrimage site, drawing thousands of devotees throughout the year. The temple's origins date back to the 10th–11th century, making it one of the oldest structures in the park. Pilgrims from all over India visit the Kalikamata Temple, climbing the steep steps to seek blessings and offer prayers. The journey itself is a spiritual experience with breathtaking views and a sense of connection to the ancient past. The history of Pavagadh dates back to the 8th to 14th centuries. The Kichi Chauhan Rajputs established their first settlement on Pavagadh Hill, building fortification walls and temples. Among the most remarkable vestiges from this period are the water retention systems, which showcase advanced engineering and an understanding of the region's topography. In the 15th century, the Turkish rulers of Gujarat, led by Sultan Mehmed Begda, conquered the hill fortress. Recognizing its strategic importance, Sultan Mehmed Begda decided to rebuild and make it his capital. This marked the beginning of Champaner's golden era. The most iconic structure from this period is the Great Mosque, or Jama Masjid. This mosque, with its intricate blend of Hindu and Islamic architectural styles, became a model for later mosque architecture in India. Its grand scale, exquisite carvings, and harmonious design make it a masterpiece of Indo-Islamic art. Pavagadh is a unique blend of religious, military, and agricultural structures. From grand mosques and palaces to modest residential buildings, the site offers a comprehensive glimpse into the life and culture of a bygone era. Interestingly, Champaner is not just an archaeological site, it is also a living village. This coexistence of past and present adds a dynamic layer to the park's historical narrative. The villagers maintain traditional practices, preserving the cultural heritage that has been passed down through generations. Despite its historical significance, much of Pavagadh remains unexcavated, leaving plenty of opportunities for future discoveries. The Archaeological Survey of India, along with local and state authorities, continues to work tirelessly to preserve and protect this invaluable heritage. Pavagadh Archaeological Park is more than just a historical site. It's a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of ancient civilizations. It is a place where history comes alive, inviting us to explore and connect with our shared heritage. Whether you're a history enthusiast, a spiritual seeker, or simply a curious traveler, Pavagadh offers a profound and enriching experience. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Pavagadh Archaeological Park. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the world's most fascinating historical sites.